speaking of people so he's tanking in the polls. He's tanking the state of Florida. Speaking of other geniuses tanking stuff, Elon Musk, everybody's
Man,
favorite. Oh man, so he's changed Twitter to X, so now it's Twitter X or whatever, and he changed the logo on the building and all that. And we've, I mean, I don't think we talked about this, but I think part of the X thing is it's the same reason he hired a new CEO, is he knows Twitter's tanking, and he needs a fall person. So he hires a new CEO. I'm going to change the brand, which is stupid. You spent whatever, 48 billion? What did you spend on that? And you're going to get rid of the most valuable thing Twitter has, which is its recognition. Everybody knows what Twitter is. Everybody calls it a tweet. Nobody knows,
right.
and he's calling it X, like the one nothing letter, right? And it's like, okay, X, and now we're not going to call them tweets, we're going to call them X's, and people are like, yeah, no, they're tweets. People,
Right.
yeah, you don't get to change the social zeitgeist. People do it on their own.
I mean, and X is what people used to sign as their name when they were illiterate and could not read, could not write.
Right.
So, like, there's this sort of connotation that has something to do with, like, being anonymous or, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nondescript in some way. And I don't know why you would want to change the brand to
Well,
being that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
well, but even then, so even now that he has the new CEO and he's changed it to X and all that, he's still at the helm, screwing things up. And here's his newest brainchild, and this is John Arcoletti with the Damage Report. He's gonna explain a little bit about what's going on here.
Elon Musk is evidently getting more desperate by the day, and I know that because of the new push that they're making to increase advertising revenue on Twitter. And yes, it is still called Twitter. That's official. It's not X, it's Twitter. The company's latest strategy to increase revenue, this is according to the Wall Street Journal, is asking brands to spend at least $1,000 per month on ads in order to maintain their verified status on the platform. Yes. If you do not spend at least $1,000, if you don't give $1,000 to the richest man in the world, they will strip verification away from your account. I'll remind you, verification was a service that was initially free and was done for Twitter's benefit. So the people on the platform would know that the people, and yes, the brands and companies that they're interacting with are actually them. And this is, I think, even more corrosive than it might seem at first. Yes, it's pathetic and it's try hard, like the fact that Nabisco isn't giving you $1,000 is causing you to lose sleep when you're a multi-billionaire. But it's worse than that, because we already know that when he began to mess with verification, people impersonated brands like Eli Lilly and did serious damage to their stock by impersonating them. This is effectively blackmail. This is Elon Musk saying, if you don't give me $1,000, you'll lose your verification. I have now made the platform so wild and unregulated that you will be impersonated almost instantaneously, and you might get Eli Lilly'd as well. That is the message.
So he's kind of nailed it there. I mean, right now, Twitter's so unregulated. I mean, it's basically neo-Nazi heaven right now on Twitter.
It's become the wild, wild west on Twitter, honestly.
Well, yeah, every time you go on, it's some racist thing or some Nazi thing or whatever. And so all that's going on all the time. And it's like, yeah, now it's like you're gonna, if you don't pay me the $1,000, it's $1,000 a month too, is what he's asking for, at least, right? And it's like, if you're a company, how keen are you to do that, right? I mean, and not just because it's like you care, like Eli Lilly would care on $1,000 a month. It's not that much to them, but I mean, it's pennies to them, if anything. But it's a matter of principle of people don't like being told to pay for shit they don't want to pay for. Right? I mean, that's a really good way to start losing customers, is to start overcharging.
Right.
It's like, yeah, iced tea is $1, but you got to pay me the extra 50 cents for ice. People be like, fuck you. right?
Yeah, they're like, nah, never mind.
I'll go pay $2.
I don't want it that much.
Yeah, I'll go pay $2 down the street. Just I don't have to deal with this shit.
Right.
Right. So God, but yeah, he's tanking Twitter, man. I don't go on that much. I never really did, but even now, it's like, especially every time I go on, it's some crazy right wing racist. I mean, they've gone way, way off the board. So, so
I
fun,
used to
fun,
like
fun.
Twitter quite a lot, really, but yeah, it just everything is going downhill over there. It kind of starts to seem like a why bother.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just sad. I mean, it's not really sad, but it's like, here you are, you're a billionaire. How much did he spend? It was like 48 billion or 148 billion. I can't remember what the total was. I ain't gonna remember. But you spend all that money, which he blew. And I want to remind everybody of this too, because this was such a funny story. He initially was like pushed to buy Twitter, right? And um, then he got himself wrapped up in a contract to buy them for whatever. Let's say it was 48 billion. Anyway, so he gets him wrapped up. He gets wrapped up with this contract, and then he tries to get out of the contract, right? And he's done this before with other stuff where he'll like I'm going to buy it, and then he decides not to, just so he can get the headline. Well, the problem is,
Right.
is the executives of Twitter were smart enough to get him into a locked-in contract. So when he tried to get out of it, they were like, "Nope. As long as we comply with the contract, you have to buy it for that price." And it was one of those things where he was forced to buy Twitter. So he tried to play this little chicken game he did for press, and then he got tied into it. And now he's driven it into the ground. I mean, he's
Man.
such an idiot. I mean, I don't know what to say. He's not a genius. He didn't invent Tesla. He bought Tesla from the two guys who started that company. He didn't start Tesla. He didn't invent any of that shit.
Well, the question is like, is it idiocy or genius? Like
Oh no,
is he really that dumb, or like is there some reason he would want to own all this shit and drive it into the ground? And like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It looks like idiocy, but then you stop and wonder how somebody could be that dumb, and then you have to stop and think, like, are they being super smart in some way I don't understand?
no, but see, that's the problem. Is people think that, and it's like, he's not though. He is that dumb. You got to stop. I keep telling, like,
Yeah.
when people like, well, Trump is doing this, and it's part of some genius plan, and it's no, it wasn't. None of that was part of any genius plan. You got to stop thinking these guys are playing three-dimensional chess. They're not. They've got one checker on the board, and they don't know how it moves. That's pretty much all that they've got. And the whole thing about, especially guys like Trump and Musk, is they grew up with so much money, they've never had to do anything. There's always been somebody else to do it for them. They've never had to think about any of this stuff.